All right, let's go ahead and get back to the list here, and we're going to go next to the players and enemies, and for that matter, bullets can be destroyed. So I went ahead and coded this into the player already, and I've called it he dies using naming conventions. And all I did here was find what's called a collision conditional. And I'll show you this here in a minute when I do the player laser and I do the enemy laser, because I've left them to code yet. But up here in the behaviors and the conditionals that start with a capital C up here, you'll see that there's one called collision conditional, and that's how we've done this. You just fill in what actor of type enemy laser that he goes in here, and you just say destroy this actor, which again, this is in an action down here, and it's in alphabetical order, so we should find it pretty quickly. There is destroy this actor. So that's all you really have to do. And as you can see in actors, I also did that thing in enemy. The only difference is when he collided with player laser, destroy this actor. So let's give you a little more ideas on how to do it, and I got to add one more thing to this now. So if a laser goes all the way through an enemy and then kills one behind him, it's either a great laser or you're cheating. So I'm going to go with B, you're cheating. So let's make the laser disappear when it hits its first enemy also. So again, we need a collision conditional. So I'm going to go here and not a group. I'm just minus and delete that. Highlight it, minus and delete it. I'm going to add a rule. And my rule is going to be a collision. So I either drag and drop from the behaviors menu, find the one that says collision, not collide. There's a difference. Collision, when actor overlaps or collides with actor of type. In this particular case, we are coding the player's laser, so it's going to hit the enemy. Then I want it to destroy. I type in the word destroy, or at least D, and I've got it ready to do so. So now the laser itself will destroy when it hits enemy. For that matter, and I haven't really talked about this yet, but the more things that you let get off the screen and you have the computer keeping track of them, the slower your game will become, especially if you do it a lot. So we're going to take care of that. So I'm going to go to here, and we haven't really talked about this yet. When all the following are happening means both of these things would have to be true, or all three. When any, this is like an or statement. So if this or that is true, then destroy this actor. This is a conditional statement. If this or, and let's talk about the or here. What we're going to talk about is the player getting off the screen. So here's your bounds. We've got a lower bound, and we talked about these before. We've got a lower bound of 0 and an upper bound of 320. So if your bullet's Y value, so again, what kind of conditional is this? This is what's called an attribute conditional. So we put in an attribute conditional here. I must have missed it. Let's try it again. There we go. I had attributes, player laser is who we're talking about, and we're going to talk position, and we're going to talk Y position, double click. If its Y position is greater than 320, again, the top of the screen, or it hits the enemy, we want it to destroy, okay? That's exactly what I'm looking for. So since this is just called rule right now, I'm going to say laser destroys, okay? And this is the player laser. For that matter, we're going to take a look at, and I could do this quicker by using that little conditional part again, and I'll probably not do that just because it's still early yet. We'll do that more and more as you guys get a little more practice. We're going to go back to enemy laser, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So again, if I'm looking for a conditional, that's a collide action. It's not what I want. I want a collision conditional, so I'm going to add a rule first. Now I type C for collision. If this is, and now what are we talking about here again? Look, we're coding the enemy laser. So if he collides with player, then I want him to type in your D, destroy. And that would be good, except for we also, let's get into this in laser, destroys. Also, if he goes past the bottom of the screen, these are shooting down. So we talked about conditionals again. So this again is an attribute conditional. So I can type in an A. If attributes, enemy lasers, position Y, again, this is up and down movement. If it becomes less than 0, then it must have got off the bottom of the screen, then it disappears. Now notice how it's coded here. This would both have to be true. It'd have to overlap player and be less than 0, and that's never going to happen. So we need to make sure we change this to any. Any now means or. If the actor overlaps with player if the laser hits player, or, that's the ante, if its position Y is less than a 0, then it's going to destroy actor. Again, this is a conditional statement. So all we need to do now is run it to make sure it works. And we'll run around here, and I can shoot one, and him and the laser disappears, and hopefully he shoots me and I disappear, and the bullet disappeared. So that's the end of the game. And that's all we can show you today, unless we rerun it again. So I'll do that on another screen. Thanks.